Hey there! Did you know that HPV is the most common sexually transmitted disease in the world? And there's a good chance you've already come into contact with this virus. Did you also know that HPV is responsible for nearly 100% of cases of cervical cancer? That's right, in this post and video, I'm going to talk about everything you need to know about HPV, how to know if someone has HPV, what tests can show if someone has HPV, what HPV can cause besides cervical cancer, and how you can protect yourself from this disease. So, what is HPV or human papillomavirus? HPV or human papillomavirus is an extremely contagious viral infection that is transmitted between people through skin-to-skin contact. It is not transmitted through blood or bodily fluids like HIV. HPV is called papillomavirus because some types of HPV cause papillomas or warts. These warts have been reported since ancient Greece. There are more than 100 varieties of HPV, and many are transmitted through sexual contact, any type of sex, oral, vaginal, anal, and even masturbation. Depending on the type of sex, they can cause problems in your genital organs, mouth, or throat. As I mentioned earlier, HPV is the most common STD in the world, more common than syphilis, gonorrhea, or chlamydia. According to the Ministry of Health, 75% of sexually active Brazilians will come into contact with HPV during their lifetime, even those who have few sexual partners. The peak of virus transmission occurs around the age of 25. It is not proven that contamination is possible through objects, the use of a toilet and swimming pool, or the sharing of towels and underwear. Now, imagine how devastating it would be to find out that you or someone you love has cervical cancer because of HPV. The good news is that there are ways to prevent this. Vaccines are available to protect against certain types of HPV that cause cancer, and regular screenings can detect precancerous cells before they turn into cancer. Don't wait until it's too late. Take action now to protect yourself and those you care about from HPV and its potential consequences. How was it discovered that HPV could cause cancer? In the early 1980s, a German scientist named Dr. Harald zur Hausen proposed a radical theory for that time, that there was a link between the human papillomavirus, HPV, and cervical cancer. At that time, most experts did not believe that a virus could cause cancer. It took him some time to gather the evidence to support his theory. He managed to show that cancer cells contained viral DNA integrated into their genomes. With great perseverance, he found fragments of HPV-16 in biopsies of cervical cancer in 1983. A year later, Dr. zur Hausen discovered that HPV-18 also participated in the formation of cervical cancer. With these discoveries, he proved that a virus could cause cancer, and specifically that HPV-16 and 18 cause cervical cancer. As a result, he received the Nobel Prize in 2008. Today, it is known that HPV-16 and 18 are found in almost 70% of cervical cancer cases. There are around 600,000 to 700,000 cases of cervical cancer each year worldwide, and more than one-third of these women die from the disease. Worse yet, mortality rates in Brazil are 18 times higher than in developed countries where there is extensive vaccine coverage. Countries like England and Australia can eliminate the incidence of cervical cancer by 2028. Don't wait until it's too late, get vaccinated against HPV and protect yourself from this deadly disease. Can HPV cause something beyond cervical cancer? Yes, cervical cancer is the main type of cancer related to HPV infection. But most vaginal, vulvar, penile, and anal cancers are also caused by HPV. And HPV infection also increases the risk of certain types of mouth and throat cancers. And listen, the rates of mouth cancer, especially tongue and oropharyngeal cancer, are increasing, especially in people over 40 years old. While these cancers can sometimes be attributed to smoking or alcohol use, it is estimated that 70% of these cancers are caused by HPV. So does HPV always cause cancer? No. In most cases, your body's immune system defeats an HPV infection before it forms warts or even cancer. HPV can disappear on its own in 80 to 90% of cases, but about 10% to 20% of people will not be able to eliminate the infection. They are called persistent infections. From there, depending on the type of HPV you contracted, warts or even cancer can occur. About 13 types can cause cancer. They are called high risk, mainly the two I already mentioned, 16 and 18. People infected with high-risk types of HPV for a long time are more likely to develop cancer. What are the symptoms of a person with HPV? Most people who are infected do not even know they have HPV. It can be transmitted even when an infected person shows no visible signs or symptoms. Genital HPV infection of low risk can cause cauliflower-like warts on the genitals and anus of men and women or around them. In women, lesions can appear in areas that are not always visible, such as the cervix and vagina. That's why it's so important to do the Pap smear exam. There is a probability of up to 80% reduction in cervical cancer mortality if the diagnosis is early. And considering that cervical tumor is a disease that can be silent or have only vaginal bleeding as a symptom, many women miss the chance to discover the problem early by not having a Pap smear. How to reduce HPV contagion risk? There are two ways. Firstly, using a barrier protection method, such as a condom, can reduce the risk of HPV infection transmission. However, it's not completely effective since HPV can be transmitted through skin-to-skin contact and may be present in areas not protected by the condom. Secondly, getting vaccinated against HPV can help protect against cancer. Can HPV be transmitted from mother to newborn? Yes, it's possible, but it's rare. When it happens, it can cause warts in the respiratory tract, including the trachea, bronchi, and lungs, known as respiratory papillomatosis, which can lead to lifelong problems. That's why it's essential to get vaccinated. The first HPV vaccine was approved in 2006, and it's now available through the public health system. The vaccine is up to 99% effective in preventing HPV-16 related lesions and 100% effective in preventing HPV-18 related lesions. Depending on the type of vaccine, it can also protect against genital warts. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends routine HPV vaccination for boys and girls aged 11 and 12, although it can be given as early as 9 years old. It's best to receive the vaccine before sexual contact, before exposure to HPV. Once someone is infected with HPV, the vaccine may not be as effective or may not work completely. Additionally, the vaccine response is better at younger ages than older ones. However, if given before infection, the vaccine can prevent most cervical cancer cases. The vaccine is available for girls aged 9 to 14 and boys aged 11 to 14 through the public health system, with 2 doses administered 6 months apart. If you have a child in this age range, it's worth vaccinating them. So, protect yourself and your loved ones by getting vaccinated and reducing the risk of HPV-related diseases. Reducing the risk of HPV infection is crucial for maintaining good health and preventing serious diseases such as cancer. Using barrier protection methods and getting vaccinated are effective ways to reduce the transmission of the virus. Remember, the HPV vaccine is available through the public health system for eligible individuals. So, if you have a child aged 9 to 14 or if you are within the recommended age range, don't hesitate to get vaccinated and protect yourself against HPV-related diseases. We hope you found this information helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel for more informative content on health and wellness. Don't forget to leave your opinion and feedback in the comments below. Thank you for watching.